Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 105. Today is Monday, September 27 of 2021, so the last Monday of September. Thanks for joining us live here on Discord and YouTube. And please be aware that this call is being recorded and will also be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to ask your questions on Menti. We will be providing the link right here in the chat so you can ask questions to the team at the end. Let's kick it off right away with our first update from the engineering department. I'll give the word to Alberto. Welcome.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, let's start with Zendu as usual. In the previous week, we have continued working on supporting, beyond the Zendu support for the Block Explorer. And in particular, we have completed the update of the relevant RPC commands and the modification of the memory data structure in mempool for handling certificates along with ordinary transactions. Because the Block Explorer has to answer to some, have some RPC calls that are requiring some additional structures and some additional information that in the, regular Zendu release are not, are not kept track. And we have also updated the level DB from connect block and the disconnect block flows. And then all the relevant changes on the Zendu side are currently finished. We are currently completing the last Python test and unit test, and in the next few days we will complete the integration of such implementations with the Explorer. We are also going on with the support in the development of the zk.d chain, and we have worked on optimizing the number of constraints of the circuit, and we opened the relevant PR. In the meantime, we're also completing the final debugging of the circuit, and in the next few days we will be able to merge the zk audit related PRs into one unique branch. Then, switching to the next delivery, on the SDK side, we are currently completing the design of the big Merkle tree, and in the next few days we will start implementing the replacement of LevelDB with RocksDB, which we mentioned in the previous Weekly Insider. For what regards the proving system, we are working on the implementation of the endomorphism, the endomol gadget, which is almost complete. We have also another, regarding Zendu, we have also another announcement that is, that last Friday we have released the final version on a parallel testnet environment. And we are performing all the related testing, but we will keep you posted on this. I believe this is all. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you. I'll pass the word now to Chronic also to provide some of the infra updates.
Yeah, thanks, Angie, and happy Monday, everybody. Like Alberto already mentioned, we've done a lot of testing on various parallel testnets. Some of those were completely in private to not have an impact on any existing networks and to have reproducible environments. And last Friday, we published Sidechain Testnet 2, as we call it internally. And this is a new parallel testnet, but it will be a very short-lived one. So this was our final dry run and test to go live on the real testnet. And this week, over the next 2-3 days, we are working on creating a release, the first official release of Zendu. And in this version of Zendu, it will not work on mainnet yet, but it is supposed to activate the Zendu hard fork on our real public testnet. With that, there are some changes which affect existing packages, like the Block Explorer, mining pool software, and so on. And we made the decision to go live, and knowing that some things will break, but we will fix them once we are live, because we actually need a good real-world testing environment to figure out what actually works and what doesn't. But this is all in preparation for the big update, which we hope we will be able to do on mainnet by the end of the year. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Chronic. Next, we have Jonathan with the growth updates.
Hey everyone, good morning. Quick update for me. So I received the completed edited ebook and it looks so cool. I've never seen like a book look so cool. We had a professional ebook editor come in and do her thing. It really blew me away. Also, we received the potential covers for the book and we chose our final cover and it also looks really cool. This whole process, since it's our first book, is taking a little bit longer than it will for future books. For example, we had to find and hire an ebook editor, but now that we have her and she's great for future books, everything will be going a lot faster. We also had a great brainstorming session, and we have some great next topics for future ebooks. Personally, I'm leaning towards a book about privacy and ZK snarks. Thanks to Zane for giving us that idea. And that's it for me. So thanks, Angie. Back to you.
Thank you. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. So many of you already know that we were at the Mainnet 2021 conference in New York City last week. And the conference had more than 1,700 guests. We had many great conversations with a lot of them at our booths. And also, aside from the main conference, we hosted a Horizen rooftop party, which was an amazing event. A lot of our partners and project supporters and friends came to the event. We also gained a lot of insights from the conference, which will help improve our strategies going forward. And part of the marketing team also spent some very productive time together in person in this trip. A lot of good ideas, good strategy coming out of many sessions that we had during this trip. And also, I'm sure Rob will talk more about this team trip later. But I just wanted to say that having the opportunity to work with the team in person and spend time together to get to know each other more just reminded me that the fact I'm working with one of the best teams in the industry, and I have no doubt that we are going to be successful at what we do because we have both the people and technology on our side. That's it from me. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Let's continue with Rosario for the product and engineering updates.
Happy Monday, everyone. And I share Lucy's same thoughts of having the best team. So I met part of the Horizen Labs and Horizen teams in New York last week. We had some really great sessions. One of the most important sessions, in my opinion, was refining the Horizen messaging. And I've got to say, we did a fantastic job. This has been such a iteration from our origin of how we started. Then we had a rebrand, and we've been on a path of technology exploration, R&D, and now executing with Zendu. So all this has led us to where we are today, which is a refined messaging that marketing will be rolling out. And it's not only refined, but it's very concise and powerful. So I'm really excited to be sharing that with you in the upcoming weeks. The product team, Alberto mentioned a lot of this already, so I won't go into details, but the product team continues supporting the Zendu tools, MainChain Explorer, Ledger support, Zencash.js, and other tools that are important for the rollout of Zendu. And a great part of this exercise was also integrating our new team members into this process and introducing them to the engineering team, and happy that we're all working well together and integrating the new team members and those that are currently executing the Zendu project. Something just important thing to understand, because it's really an indication of how we work as a team. We had a session with our Ledger partner, and we wanted to understand how to provide a better support for them to smoothly upgrade Zendu, and what do they needed to do and their timelines. And we got great feedback from our team. So I wanted to share that with the community, that the feedback was that we operate very professionally, and they appreciated that we contacted them ahead of time to understand what they needed. And the result of that was a change on our side that would make it very easy for the Ledger team to upgrade. So that was something great. We had another session. The other very important session that we had was to review the projects for completion by the end of the year. And because we've added new team members, we've also added additional projects to the 2021 roadmap, and which we are going to be entering the fourth quarter very soon. So that was done with a lot of care. So there's one project that I don't want to disclose quite yet, because we are going to be defining it this year. But I will say that this new project will showcase our tokenization capabilities on Zendu. And we are planning on potentially releasing that at the end of this year. Thank you. And back to you, Angie.
Thank you so much, Rosario. Now let's welcome Rob for the leadership updates and the Q&A session.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so let's see. I've spent the last week in New York City, and you've heard some other team members talk about the fantastic time we've had with each other here. So, like Lucy said, we represented Horizen at the Mainnet 2021 conference. It was, I would say, a great experience. Number one, obviously, to see our team in person, but number two, to just get that presence back out there into the crypto community and just see so many of our partners and friends of the project out there. From community members to, say, the Celsius team joining us for our Horizen rooftop event, which was done fantastically by Lucy and her team. So thank you for that. And the other big thing of this trip here was really refining this big marketing communication strategy, like you've already heard some of the team members allude to. I'm looking forward to getting that out to you guys. I don't know at what stage the strategy. So we walked out of that meeting with thinking, wow, this is it. We nailed it. But definitely want to socialize this with team community partners to make sure that this is something that resonates with everyone. But I would say for me, it really highlighted just trying to peel back all of the noise that we often get in this industry of a lot of people doing a lot of different things. And there's always these shiny objects from DeFi to NFTs and so forth. And just peel that back and think, where are we? What is our strength? And I think one message that just hit me over this last week was, even for me, because I'm just so in the weeds with Horizen, say, we're just so obsessed with what we're doing and every day focusing on what we're doing. I think it even just the big message of how powerful a technology that we're delivering kind of escaped me. So as we were going through the strategic messaging, it became more clear as we're peeling back all of these other things that we could be doing in terms of like, what applications are we building? We get these questions from the community all the time, whether it's on Discord or Telegram. What are we going to build? What types of applications? Will we do NFTs? Will we do DeFi and so forth? But getting to the core of our unique value proposition, it was powerful. And I think the messaging that we've really been converging on is powerful, and it highlights exactly what we're doing and why what we're doing is going to make a big splash in this industry. So that said, we can talk all day long about all the amazing things we're going to do and all the amazing things that will be built in Horizen. But until we deliver, I think this message is just going to be lost on the rest of the market. So this is what we're doing. And you've heard some pretty important updates today from Alberto, Chronic, Rosario on the things that we're delivering. In particular, the fact that Zendu has already hit our parallel testnet. So not the main public testnet, but when we think that we have to deliver, and this powerful technology that is just there, and we've been building it for years, until we get it out to the market, until we roll it through testnet, parallel testnet, through testnet to activating on mainnet, we're just talking. And I think the market may feel, with all of the noise that's going on, that we've been talking for a while. So be it, because we've been focusing on solving one of the biggest problems in this industry for the last several years. And we're getting ready to bring this to market. And the fact that it's already on a parallel testnet, like Chronix had a short-lived parallel testnet, so that we're going to be rolling this out to the main public testnet this week. This is huge. Now we're going to have a whole series of activities that take place on the public testnet in support of Zendu, and we have a whole bunch of work still ahead of us to make sure that all of our partners and tools surrounding Zendu are integrated properly. All of these things are in progress, and one of the takeaways that I had, I'll just reiterate from, I think it was either Rosario or Lucy who said it, but one of the main messages from this last week is we have a fantastic team. So I have no doubt that we're going to be powering through to completion and then through mainnet activation with Zendu. And this will be something that will be one of the most important deliveries for the industry of the year. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to say all of that. And let's see, I think we have a bunch of work ahead of us. We will for sure get the strategic messaging out to the community. I don't want to spill the beans. And I know there's also some pretty heavy BD updates that took place over the last week that I'm pretty pumped to talk about, but I won't, I won't get Dean mad at me by going and spilling the beans on those either. Just a fantastic, amazing set of things that are going on right now that the team is just powering full steam ahead on. So pay attention, guys. I'll stop here and we can open it to Q&A.
Thank you, Rob, and as well, thank you for the community for asking their questions. So let's see our top 3. So the first one is, how does Horizen plan to prevent something similar to Ethereum's high gas fees affecting the network once Zendu goes live?
So it comes down to the architecture, and the architecture that I will give full credit to Alberto on designing and just inventing is designed so that these fees, transaction fees, are not going to explode with usage. So the way that we do this is by being able to run many blockchains in parallel, so that if you ever had congestion pricing on a particular sidechain, then you would be able to just continue launching other sidechains. And the goal here was not to have all of the ecosystem's activity going through a single blockchain, like is the case for almost every other system that's out there. We're actually doing it in a compartmentalized sidechain model so that a whole bunch of function-specific stuff happens on their own sidechains. They're not competing for resources with other chains, and then we can keep launching new ones. And the capacity for Zendu is absolutely phenomenal. And I know we need to get out there on our end with specific numbers on what we think the capacity is going to be for the system. We've alluded to them in other calls, but I'm not sure if we've published anything specific. But in terms of throughput, we've thrown around numbers that I think we're going to even be able to blow away. But things like having up to 1,000 blockchains operating in parallel with something like 3.5 million or so transactions per main chain block in total throughput. So the capacity here is absolutely phenomenal compared to what this industry is used to. So I think that in itself is what will keep transaction fees low, or at least so that they don't explode with usage.
Thank you, Rob. The second question is, what is the current updated timeline for Zendu and Zen 2.0.24? It seems there will be many releases very close with each other.
That is true. So maybe Chronic, do you want to chime in here on the specific release schedules, at least to the extent that we can?
Yes, we've actually just set them in stone today. And so tomorrow we will merge the Zendu testnet release for a hard fork activation targeted Wednesday, so middle of this week. That will be the time when people can actually start testing on real testnet. And on October the 10th until October the 13th, we will be working on the deprecation release of Zen 2.0.24. And you're right that we will have a lot of releases in short succession. And also the 2.0.24 deprecation release will be relatively short-lived. So it will, instead of 6 months until the next deprecation, it will deprecate 7 weeks after release for a targeted next deprecation of December 1st. So in essence, that means that in the middle of November, we will have to make the decision to release Zendu to mainnet and do the release then.
Thank you, Chronic. The third and final question, and I see also some of them that were a lot of them that were about mainnet. So people would like to know what are our biggest takeaway or the biggest takeaway from mainnet event.
Maybe I can.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I can start, and then people who are attended the event can add. So for me, the main takeaways, I noticed the landscape of the industry has really changed a lot since last time I attended a big event like this. I see the industry in general has matured a lot. You know, they focus on use case and real world solutions, and people are interested in interoperability, and they were particularly interested when we told them that we worked with other blockchain projects, and then we were building solutions together, and then provided real world use cases, and that we use blockchain to provide real world solutions. So that's really interesting. And then for me, I feel like we need a stronger and clearer messaging that can pinpoint what we do and why we do it best. And that's why I think it's our trip was such a success, that we addressed that, and then I'm confident that we have a solution for that, because once I explained to people what we do and why we do it best, and I can see their eyes lighten up, and then they were very excited, and then they also agreed that what we do is something groundbreaking, and then they get really interested. So I think it's marketing's job to get us there, to tell the world what we do and why we do the best. And anyone else would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's so well said, Lucy. I will say that there were two instances from last week that really struck me. So one was I had two people come up to me last week at different events, actually, and they were such diehard Zen fans. And this was not our Zen rooftop party that we talked about. This was actually other parties for other projects out there. So while at events for other projects, having community members for Horizen actually come up to me and just talk about how passionate they are about what we're doing, how important it is to them in their lives, and how much of a kind of an inspiration that our team is to them, was just really phenomenal. So that was something that stuck with me, that there seems to be momentum building around the project, and clearly the timing is perfect as we get towards Zendu release. But having that kind of community support was awesome. The other thing wasn't related to mainnet specifically, but it took place last week. I actually gave a talk at an investor seminar online last week, and I think maybe a dozen projects were curated to be invited to speak to this group of 400 investors. And of those 12 projects, 2 others. So the guy who put it together had a debrief with me afterwards, and he said 2 of the other projects, and this was kind of like a random assortment of 12 projects across the industry who were invited to speak to this thing. 2 of the other projects said, or one in particular said, that they couldn't do what they plan on doing without Horizen. So that was huge, and it struck him that there's something really powerful going on here. And the other project that was there was a friend of ours that we all know about, Celsius was there, and they were just speaking very highly of working with our team and how they're so excited for what we're doing. And obviously we're super pumped to work with Celsius as well. But I wish I could mention the second project. We actually haven't announced that partnership yet, but we've been working with them in the background for some time now. It's a really, really hot project on the NFT metadata side, so we're pretty pumped for that one. And it just struck me that there were 2 of 12 projects out there that were talking about us in an investor conference. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, so main takeaway for me is that there's momentum building, and as we roll into Zendu, this is really important.
Thank you.
And Angie, Luca here. If I could jump in, we'd like to integrate something on the previous question.
Please, yes.
Alberto is here with me.
Yeah, for what regarded the release, just to make it more clear. Okay, the Zendu release in terms of changes and all the developments is complete. So The 2 audit has been finished and successfully finished. And so for what regards the development is complete, what is our plan? Our plan is to go on testnet, and we are going on testnet within this week. And then we will have, the time that is left between now and the next deprecation date to have it, to test it on testnet, and also to be sure that all the integrations with other partners are working correctly. The main one. And so we are taking these 7 weeks, as Chronic is mentioned before, for having the time to perform, test in testnet, and moreover having the partners integrating. And so we are targeting the 1st of December or something like that. Depending on the deprecation date, to upgrade to Zendu. And so this is our target right now. And so we will be able then to have, after the deprecation date, the hard fork activation and that Zendu, working on mainnet. So this is the current plan, just to be sure that was clear from the previous answers.
Yeah. Was just
Awesome.
that. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luca and Alberto, for clarifying that. So thank you everyone for attending our weekly Insider. I guess this is a wrap. We'll see you all next Monday for the latest Horizen updates. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody.